Hey guys, the CFA Institute just sent out a pretty wild email that I think might change the program forever. But is it good or bad? I don't know. Let's take a look and read some of these changes they're proposing. So they said, "We are excited to announce the evolution of the CFA program." And they said they did extensive research with candidates in the industry to inform six new large significant changes. So let's just go through one by one and see what we think here. Okay, number one, CFA program eligibility expansion. So in November 2022, we expanded CFA program eligibility for those at university, allowing students who are 23 months from completing their undergrad. So this is something that's been out for a while. That seems like a good one. I mean, it's like why gatekeep based on people who have bachelor's degrees at this point in time. So that seems like a good change. Opens it up to more people. Focused curriculum based on research. Okay, so let's see. Based on the extensive research with employers and candidates, we have prioritized the exams for more advanced practice concepts and more time for new practical skills modules to create a more focused curriculum. Our research indicates that most level 1 candidates have already mastered many introductory concepts. Okay, to avoid duplication, to streamline level 1 content, we now provide it separately. Okay, content such as time value, money, basic statistics, micro econ. So it looks like they're just going to take a lot of stuff out of level one, which I think for people with like finance bachelor's degrees, that would make sense because that's easy stuff that you just have to study multiple times. But I think there's a lot of people who come from like engineering backgrounds and stuff and other STEM fields to the CFA. So they might have to go review some of this stuff like time value, money, and micro econ. But, anyways, I don't know. Don't really have any strong opinions on that. Introduction to practical skills module. Okay, we have established practical skills modules for each level to teach candidates on the job practical application of what they are learning in the program. So, a practical skills module is a 10 to 15 hour program that uses a combination of videos, multiple choice questions, guided practice, and case studies to develop candidates' practical skills. Okay, interesting. To receive exam scores, candidates must complete one practical skills module between their registration and a cutoff date prior to the release of the exam results. The following modules will be offered. So, level one is financial modeling. So, it's just you're in Excel and you're building a three statement financial model to value a company. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting. And then there's also Python programming fundamentals. So it looks like just basics of Python. Yeah, basics of Python. Jupyter notebooks, presenting, developing, sharing data science projects. And then level two is analyst skills, right? So okay, equity analyst skills. Not really sure. That's kind of vague. Like what tools would you be using in that? And then Python, data science, and AI. Uh, Candidates introduces machine learning, AI, and data science. I don't think you're gonna dive too deep into machine learning, AI, and data science in like a 10 to 15 hour program. Anyways, so I think this is kind of interesting because back when I took the CFA, I felt like everything was just, you using a pencil, writing on paper. You have a tiny little calculator that you would never use in the real world, so it wasn't super practical. I remember when I got to my first job out of university, I took level one right after I graduated university and right before I started school. So there was like a 3 week time period in there in June that I could take it. And I got to my first job and they were like shocked at how little I knew how to use Excel. And I'm like, I don't know. Do you blame me or do you blame the CFA or the school or all three of us for not really preparing people that well for the actual real world applications of the job? So I think this is actually pretty interesting that they're, diving into all these skills assessments that are actually real world applicable. I mean, like the CFA as it existed before was pretty interesting, but it was all textbook stuff and it really wasn't that practical. It couldn't transfer over to your job all that well. So if they teach you how to use Excel well, how to use Python well, I think that's pretty interesting and it could make the program actually better. But I think the thing that they really need to focus on is like this can't just be some 10 to 15 hour program that you go through and everybody passes because the value of the CFA is like the pass rates are pretty low. So if you get it, that person went through some rigorous, challenging, difficult path to get there. And so I think if they can keep it to have the same level of, I guess, like aura around it that this person did something difficult, then it should actually possibly improve the CFA program. But I guess we'll see. Number four, introduction of specialized pathways. Beginning with February 2025 level 3 exam, we will introduce specialized pathways at level 3 to allow candidates to choose an area of specialization. Candidates will be able to choose the traditional portfolio management path. So, yeah, that's the one that everybody took in the past, I guess. Or one of the two new pathways, private wealth management or private markets. All three pathways will be in pursuit of one credential, the CFA charter. So that's an interesting one too, because it gives you the option, and based on what your preferences are, you might have more interest in one area or the other. So I can see the benefits of that, but also one thing I'm thinking of is like back when I was in college years ago, we had this site called Rate My Professor, and a lot of times before I was picking my classes, I would go on there and you could see like a difficulty rating for the class that people voted on it, like a 1 through 5. And a lot of times you just pick the class that had like the easiest score because, or the professor with the easiest score because you just didn't want to have as much work. And I feel like that's one problem with this is like, what if the private markets pathway becomes known as like the one that's easier than private wealth management or portfolio management path? And then like people are getting the CFA charter based on an easier pathway, like a less rigorous path, or even just the thought of that starts getting out there amongst the general finance population of like, oh, the CFA is not what it used to be because there's like these all these pathways and some of them are pretty easy, but we all get the same CFA credential. So I think one thing that the CFA really needs to focus on is making sure all of these are equally as rigorous. Like there's not one easy pathway. Okay, number five, change number five, recognition of success. We are rolling out an improved badging strategy to recognize achievements along your journey to CFA charter holder. This will be accompanied by marketing awareness building among employers. With this change, we are signaling to the market that completing level 1 and level 2 are substantial achievements with high signal value to employers. While the end goal of becoming a CFA charter holder is the most important milestone, your knowledge and ability to add value in the market increases along the way and isn't just conferred at the end. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's like I'll believe it when I see it because I think for a long time now, if someone has like passed CFA level 1 on their resume, you'll just think, oh, that's cool that they're doing the CFA, but they haven't really earned it yet. It doesn't really add that much value to their resume. Like you appreciate that they're on that path, but will you hire them over someone who doesn't have passed CFA level 1? It's probably not like a major deal breaker. So if they're gonna change the badging strategy, like what is it gonna be like? Hello, Mr. Goldman Sachs. I'm certified CFA level 2 aficionado in Python data science. Please give me a job. Like I don't know. I just don't buy that like people are really gonna like you change the name of that badge from past CFA level 2 to something else and all of a sudden the industry gives it more value. But I don't know. Maybe they got some marketing geniuses at the CFA Institute and they'll figure it out. So I guess we'll see. Change number 6, CFA program practice pack. To help you succeed, we are now offering an optional level 1 practice pack for an additional charge. It includes 1,000 more practice questions and 6 additional mock exams to go with study materials you are currently receiving as part of registration. That one is actually one that would be super helpful because I remember back when I was taking it, I felt like the CFA Institute practice problems were actually way better than any of the third-party prep provider ones. And their exams, I felt like their mock exams were the best ones too. So, I mean, depending on the cost, like if I was going through this program right now, I'd definitely be shelling out the cash to get these extra questions and exams. But anyways, these are just my thoughts and opinions. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think this could be a little bit controversial, but I would just say keep in mind that the CFA has made changes in the past, like moving to the like electronic testing sites, and I don't think it tanked the value of the program or anything, and people thought that might. So I would say just like be patient and see how they're able to implement this before we kind of freak out about anything. So, all right, thanks for watching.